Good morning, everyone. So I was really hoping to do a Facebook Live this morning because I am walking in a whole new area with a little bit better elevation, and I thought I would have better service up here to where I'd be able to do a Facebook Live. But apparently that is not the case. But that just goes along with this whole theme of this video, which is what I want to talk about, is resilience. And I just want to share with all of you the resilience that I had to adapt to over the last month and a half with preparing to go to a training that was a month long with little or no notice, and coming home to my family after a month and getting back into routine. And so with all of that has happened over the last month and a half, I've had to stay really resilient. Or else I probably would have lost my mind. And I know a lot of people who would have lost their minds going through everything that I ended up going through. So just to share with all of you a little bit that has happened. Before I left, I literally had 2.5 days notice before I left. So it was always in the game plan for me to go to this training. But I was number 5 on the wait list, and I was number 5 on the wait list for about 3 months. And so the chances of me going were like really slim to none. It is so beautiful up here, you guys. I have never walked up here in the morning, but I'm really enjoying it so far. Like, look at the sun. I'm watching the sunrise on my walk this morning. Love it. Okay, so what was I talking about? So 2.5 days notice, I basically wrote off my list that I was even going to this training because I was number 5 on the wait list, all the way up until 2.5 days prior. But even then, what had happened was somebody from my state, the state of North Dakota, canceled out of this particular school. And when she canceled out, that opened up another North Dakota slot for somebody else to go. And because I was the only other North Dakota soldier that was on the wait list to go to this training at this time, they gave me a phone call and asked if I wanted to go. And because I have been waiting to go to this training for over 2 years, it's been probably about 3 years that I've been trying to go to this school, I was like, I gotta go. Life is happening, yes. We were closing on some investment property. My son was starting his first day of school. We just had a lot going on. My son's birthday happened over the time that I was gone. And it was just a lot going on. But and this is with anything, right? We think that things are going to be better at some other time, at some other state of our life, right? So I easily could have said, oh, it's a really bad time for me to go to this school. It's at short notice. I'm going to go in April because that's going to be a better time. But here's the thing, it's never going to be a right time unless you decide that it's a right time. And that's a part of being resilient, right? Looking at, okay, I don't think that this is a good time that I can do this. And think about this with weight loss. Oh, it's just not a good time. All the holidays are coming up. Summer is over. It's just not a good time to start this weight loss journey and start losing weight. But it's never going to be a good time unless you decide that it's a good time. And our circumstances don't really dictate what is a good time and what's not. You get to decide what's a good time and what's not. So that's the first piece in being resilient. So after I went to this training, my routine completely changed, right? I was in a completely different environment. I was being told what to do. And I never knew what our schedule was going to be. For the most part, I really didn't know what we were going to do day from day. And things wouldn't work out and they would change things. And just being really flexible, being able to adapt to change, not making it mean anything. It was a lot easier to adapt to that change, being really resilient. With going into the whole situation, knowing that things were probably going to change. Even though they told us this was going to be this way, it was probably going to change. And I remember the first day that I got there and we were in processing, and I still think it is or was massively unorganized. I could feel the anxiety starting to creep up in my body of like, oh, this wasn't a good idea. But just like with a good time, like we get to decide what makes a good time and what's not, we also get to decide what is a good idea and what is a bad idea. So in that moment, I chose to believe that it was a good idea regardless of what was happening around me. And so that is my second tip for resilience. And lastly, I will leave it with this. So coming home after being in a completely different environment where you don't have to cook for yourself, you only have to do your own laundry, you live in a 10 by 10 room, you have the same routine day after day for the most part, minus school. And then you come back to your family where they have established their new habits, their new routine. And when I woke up at 4 a.m, the first night of being home, my daughter wanted nothing to do with me. She didn't know who I was. She didn't see me come home because my flight got in at like really late, like 11 o'clock at night. And I wasn't feeling very well. And so she never even got to see me. So at 4 a.m, she wanted nothing to do with me. And in that moment when she wanted nothing to do with me, instead of making it mean like, oh, this was a big mistake that I left for this training for a long period of time, instead I made it mean, oh, she just hasn't seen me in a while. I'll get reacquainted with her in the morning. And I went back to bed. And so that is kind of the theme that I've been going with after being home. Like, okay, they've created these habits. They've established this new routine. I'm not going to jump in and completely change everything and take over, but I am just going to see what they've established, change it up if I really don't like what is going on, but I'm open to the concepts and ideas of what they are doing. And so I want you guys all to keep that in mind when you go to a training and you come back after a long period of time, or you go on a deployment and you come back after a long period of time. Like, don't just expect to jump into routine either your way, or if it's their way, getting frustrated with whatever they've established. Like being really resilient, being open, being flexible. And this is really like the way that you should just move through life, is being open and flexible and adapting to change and being resilient throughout the entire process, because I can tell you that it feels so much better than being stressed out and full of anxiety. So not to say that stress and anxiety aren't going to happen, but that if you can figure out what are the thoughts that are creating the stress and anxiety of, oh, this isn't a good idea, this isn't the right time, I don't like this. Like, if you can learn to be adaptive and flexible and open-minded, you can change your thinking, which will ultimately change the way that you feel, which will like carry out throughout your actions and ultimately create a much better result for you, which is all about resilience, being able to adapt to change. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. I'm glad to share a little bit of my journey with you over the last month. And I am taking one-on-one clients for my Weight Loss Academy. So if you are interested in losing weight, learning to be more resilient, more flexible, in order to lose weight easily, reach out to me, schedule a free one-on-one discovery session, and we will chat to see if you are a good fit for the Weight Loss Academy. So I hope to talk to you all soon, and I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.